today is our last session of book club for this term, and we are going to be looking at a kind of a fairy tale mashup. So it's a great story, but it's got kind of a bit of Jack and the Beanstalk, a bit of the Big Bad Wolf, but lots of kind of cool fairy tale mashup. So it's called The Big Bad Twist. Hi to Eleanor, Willow, Caden, Georgia, Hannah, William, Samantha, Aurora, Peter, Lucy, Maya, and a Paulie Ava. Well, I'm hoping that this live will cheer you up, Ava, and get well soon. And hello to everybody watching on Catch Up, everybody also watching over on YouTube. So we're going to start by playing a game. I'm going to turn my camera off so you get a better look at my picture on the left. But I spy with my little eye something beginning with T. Now, on the left-hand side, there are lots of different pictures of various fairy tales. But what can you spot that begins with T? With the letter T. So the letter T is also the sound T. So what can you spot? That's tricky. I can see some magic beans. I can see Little Red Riding Hood. I can see a troll, but it's not a troll. So troll is the wrong answer. I can see a turnip, but turnip is the wrong answer as well. So it's not troll. It's not turnip. It's not tree either. Oh, this is tricky. Can you see any more? Oh, it's not the Three Little Pigs, but that also starts with T. Oh, I might have one with this one. Oh, and somebody's got the answer. Well done. The answer is teeth. So well done if you got that one right, but the answer is teeth. Right, I spy with my little eye something beginning with B or B. Now this is a bit more tricky. What can you see that begins with the letter B? It's not the beanstalk, but a good idea. If you've gone for beanstalk, it's not the beanstalk. It's not beans for magic beans, and it is not any billy goats either. It's not the basket that Little Red Riding Hood's carrying. So nobody's got it right yet. It's not beast. But good idea. It's not the Billy Goats Gruff. It's not the book. So I'm going to give you a clue. What does the Big Bad Wolf say when he is trying to knock down the Three Little Pigs' house? He says, I'm going to huff and I'm going to puff. And I'm going to blow your house down. So it was B for blow. Can you see the wolf blowing with his big huffy puffy breath? So the next one, I spy with my little eye something beginning with F. With F. Now I think this one's possibly easier. Probably my favourite picture out of all of the pictures. It's not the fairy. So it's not a fairy, but good idea. I think it's the cutest picture as well. It's not the forest. Someone's got it. It's the frog. So a frog. Do you know? I think this frog looks really, really sweet with his little crown on. Do you think if I kissed the frog, it would turn into a big prince? What do we think? I don't think I'm gonna try it. Right. I spy with my little eyes something beginning with H. So another H. Have I gone backwards? I'm just wondering whether it's house. Just wondering whether I've gone backwards. Oh no, I haven't gone backwards. I can't remember what this one is. So I can't tell you. I can't remember this one, but there is a house. There is a hen. Shall we see? Oh, it was the hen. So well done. I don't think it is Humpty Dumpty. I think it's the big giant, but it does look a bit like Humpty Dumpty with the bald head. Right, something beginning with S. Oh yeah, the Queen of Hearts. That would be a good one too. I spy with my little eye something beginning with S. What do we think? We've all gone quite quiet. I think that there's possibly only one thing that's an S. And I think that it has been guessed in the chat. It's a slipper. So Cinderella's slipper, a sword. Not sure I can see a sword. But yeah, it was a slipper. Right, we're going to play another game. We're going to play a game where I'm going to tell you this bit of the story, and you have to tell me what the fairy tale is. So which fairy tale is it where a biscuit runs away and is chased by lots of people and animals, and then the biscuit tries to cross over a river with the help of a sneaky fox? Now, what fairy tale is that fairy tale? A biscuit running away. Can anyone remember what the biscuit even says? George has got it. The biscuit says, "Run, run as fast as you can, because you can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." So yes, the gingerbread man is that story. Right, the next story. Some hungry goats who want some grass to eat and decide to cross over a little bridge. Now, this is my favourite fairy tale, but mainly because my daughter has this in a book. And the hungry goats are really, really sweet. I love the illustrations in the version that my daughter has got. But what is the story? The hungry goats wanting some grass to eat. Lots of you have got it. Hannah, William and Samantha have got it. It's the Three Billy Goats Gruff. So the Three Billy Goats Gruff. I've always wanted a goat. But yes, the Three Billy Goats Gruff. A little girl visits her grandma, who looks rather different. She seems to have furry ears, big eyes, and a long nose. Who's that then, do we think? A little girl visiting her grandma, who seems to look rather different. I think lots of you have got this one. It's Little Red Riding Hood. I like reading. There's loads of different versions of Little Red Riding Hood. It's really good to look at lots of different ones. Some pigs leave home and they decide to build their own houses, but a wolf pays them a visit. What's this one? So some pigs leave home and they decide to build their own houses, but a wolf pays them a visit. I think you all know it. We've just found the wolf in our I Spy. It's the Three Little Pigs. A little girl goes into a cottage she finds in the woods. She eats some food, breaks a chair, and goes to sleep in a little bed. And then the homeowners come back. Oh dear, that doesn't sound very nice behaviour. So a little girl goes into a cottage. She finds some food, breaks a chair, and goes to sleep in a little bed. Yes. Aniqua's got it. It's Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Well, today we are going to read Fee Fi Fo Fum. It is a great Twinkl original because it kind of has all of the different fairy tales kind of blended in. So as we are reading it, have a little think about which fairy tales that you can see or notice. Wolfie's plan to eat the girl in the red cloak had gone well to start with. He'd hidden Granny in the cupboard and put on her night clothes before the girl walked through the door. If only he hadn't shown the girl his teeth. She had screamed so loudly, well, wouldn't you if you saw a big bad wolf, that Will the woodsman had heard her and came running to her rescue. In a panic, Wolfie dived out of the nearest window and landed with a yeah in an enormous patch of stinging nettles. Could his day get any worse? Luckily, he managed to outrun the angry woodsman, who was weighed down by his heavy axe. Not taking any chances, Wolfie kept running, forgetting that he was still wearing his granny disguise. Just as he thought he was safe, the nightie slipped down around his ankles, making him trip and fall into a thorny bush. Once his head had stopped spinning, he saw that he had landed outside the little cottage. Inside, he could hear an angry woman shouting, "Oh, Jack! What on earth are we meant to do with these silly beans?" Before Wolfie could move, the beans came sailing out of the open window and rained down on his head. "Ow!" he said. "I've had enough of this." It was starting to get dark. Wolfie was exhausted, so he settled down to sleep. As he lay dreaming, a beanstalk began to grow from one of the beans. It stretched higher and higher into the sky, and by the time Wolfie woke up, it was disappearing into the clouds. He heard the sound of rustling leaves from above and caught a whiff of smelly socks. "A boy!" he exclaimed hungrily. "No more red-cloaked girls or little pigs for me," he said to himself. "I'm heading after that boy, and soon it will be lunchtime." Wolfie climbed as quickly as he could, using his claws to grip the stalk as he clambered higher and higher. When he finally reached the top, he gasped in amazement as he stared up at a gigantic castle. It was so huge that it looked like it belonged to a giant. In the door was an enormous cat flap, through which he saw a boy's legs disappearing. Wolfie struggled as he waded through the soft, fluffy clouds, but eventually he reached the flap and clambered inside. He tried to follow the scent of boy, but he was distracted by another smell that crept inside his hairy nostrils. Someone who smelt even worse than the boy was nearby. Wolfie crept quietly through the empty halls until he reached the kitchen. There, on top of a huge table, stood the boy, with a goose under one arm and a harp under the other. Without making a sound, Wolfie tiptoed towards him. But the silence was suddenly shattered as the harp played a noisy tune. Uh-oh, said the boy as the ground began to rumble. A terrifying voice boomed. Fee Fi Fo Fum! Fee Fi Fo Fum, muttered Wolfie to himself. I think it's best if I head off. But at that moment the boy jumped down from the table and landed on Wolfie, pinning him to the floor. Sorry, said the boy as he ran towards the door, and thank you for the soft landing. Wolfie struggled to his feet and raced after the boy with the thud, thud of the giant's footsteps close behind him. The boy hurried through the cat flap and raced ahead, but poor Wolfie was too slow. The giant yanked open the door and sent him flying through the air with a colossal kick. Wolfie landed in a painful heap next to the beanstalk. Determined to catch the boy, the persistent wolf scrambled down the beanstalk with the giant in hot pursuit. In his haste, Wolfie slipped and tumbled, overtaking the boy and bouncing from branch to branch before meeting the ground with a bone-shuddering thump. Now you might think this is where Wolfie's problems would end, but unfortunately for him, there was one last horrible surprise waiting. There in the garden stood Will the woodsman with his sharp, shiny axe. Not you again, Will yelled. He chased after Wolfie, accidentally hacking at the beanstalk with every swing of his axe. Soon a creaking sound filled the air and the beanstalks began to topple. The giant and the beanstalk came crashing to the ground. As the boy headed back to his cottage, Wolfie stalked away, furious after a disastrous day of bumps and bruises and no dinner. Maybe I'll go and visit those 3 little pigs again, he thought. Third time lucky after all. Some wolves never learn. Now, my question for you is, can you see Wolfie? He's got lots of plasters on his bottom and he's covered in lots of cuts and bruises. One thing I love about this Twinkl Original is on every single page there are little snails and ladybirds. So it's worth downloading the book if you don't have it, or looking at it on the Twinkl app and counting how many ladybirds and snails that you can find. But my big question for you is, did you feel sorry for the wolf, or did you not? So did you feel, because at the end of the day, he's trying to eat 3 little pigs, he's trying to eat Little Red Riding Hood, he's trying to eat Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk. But my question to you is, do you feel a bit sorry for him? Because actually, I feel a bit sorry for him, which makes it quite an interesting story. Because usually you're supposed to really dislike the wolf as a baddie, but I feel a bit sorry for him. Now, one of the things in this story, because it's a mix of lots of different fairy tales, is that obviously there's a big beanstalk. But my question to you is, what is the life cycle of a bean? So how does it start? So we've got here flowers, bean, dies, seed dispersal, leaves, roots, fruit, and germination. So what is the life cycle of a bean? Can you sort it out into the correct order? Can you sort it out into the correct order? So what do we think comes first? And then what comes next? Have you got the ideas? We've gone a bit quiet. Do we think it starts with the bean? Can we see the bean? So you plant the bean, and then what do we think happens? So you plant the bean. Oh, we've got some answers coming in. And then it starts to germinate, which means it starts to get all of those messages that it needs to grow. And it lays down roots into the soil, and then out comes some leaves, and then eventually some flowers, and then the fruit comes out, which will be obviously beans, dependent on what bean you're growing, but we tend to call them vegetables. But in a plant, we call it the fruit, the thing it produces. And then in that bean, so the beans it grows will be more beans, which are its seeds, and those seeds will disperse out. Usually, because with beans, it's usually that the animals eat the beans and then they poo out the seeds, so the seeds get dispersed everywhere, and then the bean dies, and then obviously it's hoping that the beans that have seed dispersed are regrowing. So that's the life cycle of a bean. So one of my activities for you this week is you could ask your grown-up, you'd have to go to a garden centre and buy a bean seed, is you could grow your own bean. Now I've been doing just that. So can you see my bean? So I've already got my bean. And we planted the bean. This is probably about maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So you can see some of the leaves that are growing, but this is my bean. So the instructions for you to grow your own beanstalk you can find in the link to the blog, which is on the information attached to this video, and it has all of the resources you can download, and it shows you how you can grow your own bean. So you need some cotton wool to start with, and then like I've got, you need to plant it into some soil, and I've just used like an old tin for mine. So that's one of our activities. Another activity that you could do is to be creative. So if you don't want to, because it's not really a craft, is it, planting a bean, although it is quite fun, is you could make up your own fairy tale wrap. So what I really like about this particular Twinkl Original is that there are lots and lots of different fairy tales. So you could take some of your fairy tales and have a big mashup, or you could just choose one fairy tale and think about whether or not you want, you can write your own rap or your own poem. So this resource is linked again off of the blog for you to download. It has lots of different words and things on it, so that you can start off with your fairy tale rap. I've actually written my own rap to show you about Fee Fi Fo Fum. And the reason that I chose this is because he says, doesn't he, Fee Fi Fo Fum, Fee Fi Fo Foff, I'm going to head off. So there's a little bit of rhyme in it. So I've written my own rap, and so you can have a go at rapping it with me, and then you don't need to let me know what you think of it and whether or not it's any good. So are we ready? Once upon a time, in a far-off wood, lived Jack with some beans that were magically good. He climbed that stalk way up to the sky, found a giant up there saying, Fee Fo Fi Fo Fry. But hold up now, who's that in red with a basket of snacks and a hood on her head? She's off to her gran's, but guess who she meets? A big bad wolf with some very big teeth. Now the 3 little pigs were building with flair. One had straw, one sticks, one bricks over there. The wolf came along, said, I'll huff and I'll puff, but the brick house held, it was super tough. Fairy tales clash in the magical land, with pigs, a girl, and a beanstalk so grand. They're dancing and rhyming, doing what they should. It's Jack, 3 pigs, and Red Riding Hood. Red told the wolf, you'd better behave, while the pigs did a jig and the giant just waved. They had a big party, no trouble, no fear, because let's just say everyone's a friend round here. What did you think of my rap? Did you think it was any good? So obviously I used all of the fairy tales that were in Fee Fi Fo Fum, but you can do your own fairy tales. If you do your own rap, do share over in our Facebook group, because I love to see it. If you grow your own bean, can you grow your bean bigger than my bean? It can be any bean. It could be a runner bean, a French bean. But yeah, you can get lots of different beans from the garden centre. So if you fancy that, then have a go. Don't forget the link to the blog is here, Critters, Claws and Cuddles, for you to find all of those activities I've mentioned and more. So there's extra things there for you to also download for you to have a week of fun linked to book club. Next week we're not here. We're having a week off. The week after, we are back for our special Week of Wonder, looking at the ancient Egyptians. I'm really, really excited for that. And the week after, we are going to be back at book club. We're going to be doing a chapter book. We're going to be looking at Water Slide Surprise and doing lots of crafts, fun, games, activities, all linked to that as well. So have a lovely week. And I will see you in 3 weeks for book club. Or if you're going to come and join us on the Week of Wonder, I will see you not next week, but the week after. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you soon.